4:22 a.m., the Persian Gulf, 50 nautical miles southeast of Bandar Abbas. The water is black and completely still. No wind, no waves, just silence and darkness stretching in every direction. Aboard the USS Pioneer, a Avenger-class mine countermeasures vessel, Petty Officer Marcus Webb sits at his sonar console and stares at the screen in front of him. The green display pulses with each sweep. He has been doing this for 6 hours, scanning the same water, looking for the same thing, finding nothing. Then the pulse returns something different. A shape, circular, resting on the seafloor at a depth of 62 feet. The dimensions match nothing natural. The density reading matches nothing that belongs in this water. Webb straightens in his seat. I have a contact, bearing 270, depth 62 feet, classification unknown. The officer of the deck moves to the console. He looks at the shape on the screen. He has seen this shape before. In training, in simulations, in classified briefings about Iranian naval doctrine. His stomach tightens. Sound battle stations. Get the skipper up here now. What Webb found is not alone. Over the next 4 hours, as daylight slowly reveals the surface of the Gulf, U.S. Navy mine countermeasures teams will identify 37 contact points scattered across a 40-mile stretch of water that represents one of the most strategically critical shipping lanes on the planet, the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow passage through which nearly 20% of the world's oil supply passes every single day. Iran has turned it into a minefield. The operation had been planned for months. Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy units had been conducting what appeared to be routine patrol activity in the southern Gulf region for weeks. American surveillance assets tracked their movements but found nothing unusual. Small patrol boats, standard routes, normal behavior. Except it was not normal at all. Under the cover of darkness, over 4 consecutive nights, IRGC naval units had deployed a combination of moored contact mines, bottom influence mines, and remotely activated mines across the shipping channel. The deployment was methodical, deliberate, designed to create maximum disruption with minimum immediate detection. The trigger was a set of events that had been escalating for 3 weeks. American sanctions had tightened. Iranian oil exports had dropped to their lowest level in 4 years. IRGC commanders presented a plan to the Supreme National Security Council. Not an outright attack on American forces. Something more subtle. Something that would demonstrate capability without crossing a line that invited immediate military retaliation. Mining the Strait of Hormuz, creating a crisis that would freeze shipping, spike oil prices, and force American and Allied navies to divert enormous resources to clearing the threat. The plan was approved in a meeting that lasted less than 40 minutes. By the time the USS Pioneer detected the first mine, Iranian state television was already preparing a broadcast. The message was simple. The Gulf belongs to us. You are guests here, and guests do not always leave safely. Rear Admiral Patricia Chen receives the initial report aboard the USS Mount Whitney at 6:15 a.m. She reads it once, then reads it again, then sets it down on the table in front of her and looks at the tactical map of the Gulf region mounted on the wall of her command center. 37 confirmed contacts, 40-mile minefield, central shipping channel compromised, 3 commercial vessels already halted at the entrance to the strait, waiting for clearance that cannot be given yet. 2 supertankers carrying a combined 2 million barrels of crude oil sitting dead in the water because nobody can tell them the channel is safe. Chen has been in the Navy for 27 years. She has dealt with Iranian provocations before. Speedboat swarms, GPS jamming, harassment of commercial shipping. But this is different. This is not harassment. This is a deliberate act of war against international shipping lanes, and the response cannot be slow. Get me the mine countermeasures group, all 4 vessels. I want them moving within the hour, and get me Commander Holloway. Commander David Holloway commands the U.S. Navy's Mine Countermeasures Squadron 7. His unit exists for exactly this moment. 4 Avenger-class minesweepers, specialized equipment, highly trained crews. They do one thing, and they do it better than almost any other naval force on Earth. They find mines, and they destroy them. Holloway receives his orders at 6:31 a.m. His response is 3 words. "We are ready." The 4 minesweepers begin moving north toward the strait within 45 minutes. Behind them, 2 MH-53E Sea Dragon helicopters are already being prepared aboard the USS Baton. The helicopters will tow minesweeping equipment across the surface of the water, detonating influence mines through magnetic and acoustic signatures. The air and surface assets will work together. Systematic, methodical, one section of water at a time. But somewhere in the back of every sailor's mind is the same question. 37 confirmed contacts in 40 miles of water. How many have not been confirmed yet? The first confirmed mine detonation happens at 8:44 a.m. It is not an accident. It is controlled. A remotely operated neutralization charge placed by divers from the USS Devastator detonates against the casing of a Soviet-era LUGM-145 moored contact mine resting at 58 feet below the surface. The explosion sends a column of white water 40 feet into the morning air. The sound rolls across the flat Gulf surface for miles. Aboard every minesweeper in the area, crews feel the pressure wave pass through the hull beneath their feet. 1 down, 36 confirmed remaining, and an unknown number still undetected. Commander Holloway stands on the bridge of the USS Pioneer and watches the water settle after the explosion. His face is calm. His mind is running calculations. At current sweep rates, clearing the confirmed minefield will take between 60 and 90 hours. Nearly 4 days of continuous operations in water that Iran considers its strategic territory. Water where IRGC patrol boats have already been spotted on the northern horizon. Watching, waiting, seeing how the Americans respond. The pressure is not just tactical, it is economic and political. Every hour the strait remains compromised costs the global economy hundreds of millions of dollars. Insurance rates for tankers attempting to transit have already tripled overnight. 3 major shipping companies have announced they are rerouting vessels around the Cape of Good Hope rather than risk the strait. The oil markets opened in Tokyo already up 4%. In London, 6%. The financial consequences of an uncleared minefield are compounding by the hour. Washington is watching. Riyadh is watching. Beijing is watching. Every major economy on Earth that depends on Gulf oil flows is watching what the United States Navy does in the next 72 hours. Holloway knows all of this, and he puts it aside. Section Alpha sweep commencing. All units maintain spacing. Report all contacts immediately. The minesweepers move in a carefully coordinated pattern. Each vessel is equipped with AN/SQQ-32 mine hunting sonar. The sonar sends acoustic pulses into the water and listens for the returns. Different materials return different signatures. Rock returns one way, sand returns another way. Steel and aluminum and explosive compounds return a very specific way that the system has been trained to recognize. When a contact is identified, the vessel stops. Divers go into the water, or a remote underwater vehicle is deployed. The contact is examined, classified, and if it is a mine, neutralized. It is painstaking work. There are no shortcuts. There is no fast version of this process. At 11:17 a.m., the second mine is destroyed. At 12:03 p.m., the third and fourth are destroyed simultaneously by 2 neutralization teams working in adjacent sectors. Progress is being made, but it is slow, and the IRGC knows it. At 12:45 p.m., the situation changes. An Iranian Kilo-class submarine is detected by a P-8 Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft operating at the high altitude 15 miles northwest of the Minesweeper formation. The submarine is moving slowly, just below the surface. Its intention is not immediately clear, but a submarine operating near a minefield and a mine countermeasures operation is not a coincidence. It is a message. Rear Admiral Chen receives the submarine report and makes a decision within 90 seconds. Redirect the USS Chaffee and USS Ross to establish an anti-submarine barrier north of the sweep zone. Nobody interrupts those minesweepers. 2 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers peel away from their escort positions and move to place themselves between the Iranian submarine and the minesweeping operation. Their sonar systems go active. They are not hiding their presence. They want the submarine to know exactly where they are and exactly what they are capable of. This is the naval equivalent of a very clear and direct message. You are seen. You are tracked. Do not interfere. The submarine adjusts its course slightly south. It does not leave the area, but it does not advance further toward the sweep zone. The standoff holds, for now. Meanwhile, the MH-53E helicopters from the USS Bataan are proving their value. Operating in pairs, they tow the Mk-105 magnetic minesweeping sled across designated sections of the channel. The sled generates a powerful magnetic field that mimics the signature of a large, steel-hulled vessel. Influence mines designed to detonate under ships respond to this signature. 3 mines detonate under the helicopter sweep between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., each one a controlled detonation that clears another section of the channel. By 4 p.m., 11 mines have been destroyed or neutralized. 26 confirmed contacts remain, and 1 new contact has been added to the chart. A mine that the sonar teams found in a section of water that was supposed to be outside the main deployment zone. The minefield is larger than the initial assessment suggested. The Iranians had not deployed in a single concentrated field. They had deployed in layers: primary field, secondary field, outlier mines positioned to catch vessels that tried to navigate around the primary threat. It was sophisticated, professional, and it meant the timeline for clearing the strait had just extended significantly. Holloway updates his estimate: 90 to 120 hours, 4 to 5 days. The clock is still running. On the second day of clearing operations, everything gets harder. At 3:15 a.m., with the minesweepers operating under darkness and reduced visibility, an IRGC fast attack craft approaches the sweep zone from the north at high speed. It does not respond to radio calls. It does not alter course when the USS Chaffee illuminates it with a targeting radar. It continues closing at 32 knots until it is within 1 nautical mile of the USS Pioneer. Then it stops, sits in the water for 4 minutes, and turns back north. It is a test. The IRGC is probing for a response, measuring how the Americans react to pressure, looking for hesitation, looking for a boundary they can push against. What they find instead is 2 destroyer fire control radars locked onto their vessel and an MH-60R helicopter already airborne and moving to intercept. They find no hesitation and no boundary worth testing, but the harassment continues throughout the night. 2 more fast boat approaches, a laser briefly directed at the bridge of the USS Devastator, an Iranian drone detected overflying the sweep formation at low altitude. Each incident carefully calculated to disrupt, distract, and delay without crossing a threshold that justifies a kinetic response. Holloway does not take the bait. Log every incident. Maintain sweep operations. Do not deviate from the mission. By dawn of the second day, 19 mines have been destroyed. 18 confirmed contacts remain. The pace is improving as the teams develop better understanding of the Iranian deployment pattern. The outlier mines are being systematically incorporated into the sweep plan. The MH-53E helicopters have increased their coverage area. The underwater remote vehicles are operating with greater efficiency in the familiar water conditions. And then the divers find something that changes the entire picture. At 9:22 a.m., a dive team from the USS Patriot examines what the sonar classified as a standard bottom mine. When the diver gets close enough to examine the casing, he immediately signals the surface. Emergency recovery. All personnel clear the area. The dive team surfaces in under 3 minutes. What they found is not a standard mine. It is a EM-52 rocket-propelled mine, a Chinese-designed weapon that does not sit and wait for a ship to pass over it. When triggered, it launches itself upward through the water column and detonates against the hull of a target vessel. It is faster, harder to detect, and significantly more dangerous than any of the other mines in the field. And if there is one, there may be more. The sweep protocol changes immediately. More conservative spacing between vessels, slower advance, additional sonar passes before any diver enters the water. The pace drops, but nobody argues with the decision. You do not rush mine clearance operations when rocket-propelled mines are in the water. 3 more EM-52 variants are found over the next 6 hours. All 4 are neutralized without incident. But the discovery fundamentally reframes the threat assessment. The Iranian deployment was not simply opportunistic. It was multi-layered, multi-weapon, and specifically designed to complicate and extend the clearance operation as long as possible. By the evening of the second day, 29 mines have been destroyed. 8 confirmed contacts remain. The end is in sight. But the most dangerous phase of any mine clearance operation is the final stage, when crews are tired, when the pressure to finish is greatest, when the temptation to move faster than the protocol allows is strongest. Holloway gathers his section leaders aboard the USS Pioneer at 1900 hours. We are not racing to finish, we are finishing correctly. Every contact gets the same attention as the first one. Nobody cuts corners, we go home with the same number of people we came with. Nobody in the room argues. The final 8 mines are cleared over the following 18 hours. The last confirmed contact, a moored LUG M145, resting at 71 feet in the southeastern corner of the field, is neutralized at 3:44 a.m. on the 3rd day of operations. 107 hours after the USS Pioneer first detected Webb's contact on the sonar screen. At 6 a.m., Rear Admiral Chen receives the clearance report from Commander Holloway. She reads it carefully. Then she makes the call that the shipping industry, the oil markets, and 3 allied governments have been waiting for. The Strait of Hormuz is open. Within 2 hours, the first supertanker that had been waiting at the entrance to the strait begins moving through the cleared channel. It passes within 4 miles of where 37 mines had been resting on the seafloor less than 4 days ago. Its crew knows what happened here. They pass through in silence. Iran turned the Gulf into a minefield. They calculated that the disruption would last weeks, that the economic pressure would be sustained, that the American response would be slow and uncertain. What they found instead was 4 minesweepers, 2 helicopter teams, and several hundred sailors who did not stop working for 107 hours straight. The Strait of Hormuz is open, the oil moves, and somewhere on the northern horizon, an IRGC patrol boat turns and heads back toward port. The Gulf belongs to whoever can hold it. This week, the answer did not change.